welcome back to the channel, friends. Today I'm excited to present to you an indie dev spotlight. So I have with me Ahmed and Axel from Horizon Edge, the creators of a game that has captivated myself and many alike in Decktamer. And I thought it'd be a really fun idea to sit down and chat about this wonderful game with the two guys that created it. I've also got my boy Rex here who's going to help me facilitate this conversation. So first off, fellas, I want to say thanks for taking the time to be here. How you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having us.
You've done a really great job with the game, and one of the things that I really enjoy is the unique, charming, and sometimes terrifying artwork. What was your inspiration for the wonderful artwork in this game?
Alright, so I'm the programmer for Decktamer, and Axel is the artist, so I'll let him answer that one.
Right. So the main inspiration is Made in Abyss. I don't know if you know, it's a manga.
Phenomenal. Very dark anime. Yes, that's fantastic. Now that you mention it, I really see the connection.
Yeah, it's the same concept. So there's an abyss with creatures, like fantastic creatures in it, and we've added like the taming and such. So that's for the main like universe overall inspiration. Then there's also Ark Survival Evolved, more for the obviously the taming part, and also the bestiary. We drew inspiration from the dossiers they have. For the creatures themselves, it can vary a lot. So oftentimes we see a cool feature in an animal, for example, or even an object or a plant, and then we make it a creature. But it can also be like sometimes in our dreams we have a design that comes up.
Let me push you a little further on that, because now that it's clear that you're the artist behind all of this, I wanted to know specifically, Grimjaw, out of all of the creatures, pops out the most to me. Is there a emotional response there to maybe an experience with dentistry that you feel has sort of motivated your design for this particular creature? I mean, honestly, I would say Grimjaw is your flagship design for the entire project.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what always grabs my eyes.
Yeah, it's the most striking. I would have said no, not really, but now that I think about it, I think it might be a bit influenced by, that monster in Ocarina of Time. When you go down the well, there's this weird, like, white, fleshy monster.
Ocarina of Time is quite an old game. When did you find or discover your artistic talent? Were you extremely young? Were you motivated by your parents? Was this something you developed in grade school?
I've been drawing, like, here and there since I was little, like a lot of artists. Early on, I had both the interest for drawing and for creating video games. After I finished high school, I decided to go to like an art school.
I see.
I did 2 years there. So yeah, in total, I think I've been drawing like seriously for 4 to 5 years now. Like really trying to get good at it.
Well, you are very good at what you do, and you create some absolutely fantastic artwork. In fact, I make a lot of content on Decktamer, right? The people really like it, and I'm often receiving comments on the artwork itself. And we got some absolute gems like the charming Hippopotamus, we have the Amethyst Ant, right? The Hero Ant. We got awesome ones like the Great Shell, and of course, we already mentioned Grimjaw. So transitioning the topic to the gameplay itself, what was the first mechanic that you were forced to cut, even though you loved it?
The game went through a lot of prototyping. And there were a lot of ideas that on paper sounded really cool and that we just couldn't make work or, didn't have time or whatever. So I guess that's kind of what your question is alluding to.
Let me get some clarification here. So then when it came down to the actual game concept design, like on paper, because when I sell the game to my friends, I say, guys, it's Slay the Spire meets Pokemon the trading card game. Am I close to the concept? Like who actually designed the fundamentals behind the actual gameplay, not the actual programming and construction on the back end, but which of you were most responsible for designing the game per se?
Yeah, that's a very good question. In fact, this was a collaborative effort. The game design is done by both of us. So it was both of us. The first instinct of making a creature collector roguelike, I think that was my idea. But the concept of having lanes, that was Axel's idea. So a lot of ideas come from either him or me, and then it's like a mix of both of our ideas, and then that's how we end up with Decktamer. Because obviously, as you can imagine, there's only two of us, so we kind of have to wear a lot of hats. Although I'm the programmer and he's the artist, I also contribute to the art by giving ideas and commenting on the designs as they go. And Axel has also actually programmed some abilities like talents and moves. So although we do have strict roles, they're not super rigid. It's very fluent. So to answer your question, it was both of us. I had the idea, the intuition of bringing the Pokemon Nuzlocke aspect to roguelike deck builders, and Axel came up with the idea of having the lane system, which I think was a very good idea.
That's really interesting the way you described the design process and how collaborative it was. That makes me wonder, how did you two connect to start this project?
Question.
That's a good question. We met in high school, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
It goes way back.
It goes way back. Yeah, at first, when this year of high school started, I was kind of disappointed because most of my friends were in another class, so I wasn't able to be with them. And then there's this guy, Axel. I don't know him.
And I was the opposite. Like my friends were in the other class as well, and I wanted to switch, and the school said no, stay in this class.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I wish you could switch so that one of my friends can take his place.
I was grumpy, I said no, but in the end, we met, so it was a good thing. We connected because of video games. So right off the bat, he was working on like a small project, and as I said, I wanted to make games since I was little, so I was super excited, and I was like, oh, you should add this to your game, you should do this, you should do that. And then eventually he said, you know what, come to the project. I was super excited. Of course, this project went nowhere because we were just in high school. We didn't know what we were doing, but then we just kept at it. We did some game jams. So Decktamer is the second game we have on Steam. The first game has been completely forgotten, but it makes sense. It's a 2D platformer, just a first project.
What's that one called?
Called Plushie Bomber. You're a snowman and you go against plushies and they throw bombs at you and you have to catch the bombs and throw them back. I think it's a fine game. It's just that platformer isn't really the most appealing genre. That's why it kind of flopped. But
yeah, it seems like that one is a hard nut to crack. Either you're Silk Song or Shovel Knight, or you just get kind of shuffled into the crowd.
If I may add to this, that's my opinion, maybe a hot take. If Shovel Knight released today, it would have flopped.
Really? Yeah, I guess you're right, because the market's so saturated now, isn't it?
Yeah, the market is not the same. It's not the same. Making a 2D platformer on Steam today, it's not a good idea. Don't do it.
One of the things that makes AK's channel so appealing is that he has such a rich historical background with the strategy games that we all kind of grew up with. And you guys connected in high school over video games. What was in the rotation for you guys when you were in high school, the games that you guys got excited about playing together?
We played a lot of Smash Bros.
Yeah, Smash Bros, man.
Yeah.
Shout out.
I was really into Hearthstone, so that influenced Decktamer a lot.
I see it.
It's a great game too.
But for games we played together, though, I would say it was mostly Smash and I guess Minecraft.
Yeah, a lot of Minecraft, a lot of Ark.
Oh yeah, Ark Survival.
Ungodly amounts of Ark. Pretty much the entire lockdown I spent.
We also had a period where we played. It was this fan game Pokemon MMO called Pokemon Revolution Online.
We played that in math class. We had our phones. I remember we had our phones in the casing of our calculators, so the teacher couldn't tell.
Oh.
And we were just trying to do the exercises
awesome.
Fast, and then we could play. We could play Pokemon MMO. Oh, and that game had a lot of farming. You had the chance to get your Pokemon was very slim. And we were pulling all-nighters to get chances and stuff like that. It was fun.
Absolutely fantastic. And obviously that's an influence in Decktamer as well, right? Of course.
Yeah. Big influence.
Yeah. Although for Decktamer, for me it was mostly, I don't know if you know this game called Pokemon Showdown.
No, I'll have to look that up. That sounds interesting. What's the gist?
So basically, it's a fan game. It's a game you play on your web browser, and it's a Pokemon battle simulator. So it's literally just PvP Pokemon battles.
Okay,
and
cool.
I love that game, and I love the meaningful strategy and choices you have to make when battling against someone. And it's one of my favorite games. Well, I don't play it as much as I do now, and I'm kind of terrible at it. But I loved it. I just loved making strategies and stuff like that. And it's something that you don't really get to experience in the official Pokemon games campaign, because in the campaign, Pokemon is an easy game. There's no challenge. You just spam the same move and you win. But when you play PvP, it's a different story. And so for Decktamer, one of my main inspirations was how can I make the fun of Pokemon Showdown strategy into a more easier to get access to format.
So bringing it back to your game, right? If you had no budget or limits, like what's the version you originally imagined? Would it be more of like a PvP thing? Do you have plans for a PvP kind of format in the future? Like, what are you thinking?
So let me get this straight. Decktamer has not been balanced for PvP. I don't think a PvP mode could work with the current state of the game because some strategies, when you're making a single player roguelike, it's okay if some strategies are busted because, well, it's a single player game. Who cares?
It's good. That's all.
It's like part of the fun of roguelikes is breaking the game. But with PvP, well, suddenly it's fun for you if you have a broken strategy, but not so much for your opponent.
Right.
So, yeah. But to answer the first part of the question, if we had no budget limitations, I think one of the things, and a lot of players would actually love that too, is for every single creature to have an evolution.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be awesome, but the number of creatures we'd have to create to make that possible, it just
basically doubles the amount.
What is it, about 151?
Yeah.
Doubles the amount. So.
I have this funny theory, and feel free to do with it what you will, or just say that's a silly idea. I've given a PvP format for your game a ton of thought. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Magic the Gathering, but the typical draft format is you open booster packs and you take one card and you pass it around a group of 8 people. And I actually had this really silly idea where you could build booster packs of your monsters. A pack would have a 4-star, a couple 3-stars, and then several 1-stars, and then you would have a group of people passing booster packs of the monsters around, including variations of mutations and then a couple item cards per pack, and you build a deck that way. And then you play a best of 1 series and paring down. I mean, obviously that requires a ton of infrastructure, but that is kind of how I saw a PvP mode for this game working. But once again, I don't know the first thing about programming.
Sounds like you just made yourself a brand new game, brother.
Yeah. I have a habit of doing that.
It's the question, right? If we had no budget, if we had no limits, so
right.
Why not? The main obstacle right now is that in Decktamer, and you see it with the true final boss, it's that either you go first or the other goes first. I mean, for taking your turn and placing your cards, etc. So if we do PvP, to make that fair, it would either have to be a secret. So you don't know what the other one is doing, and you have to predict, like in Pokemon, basically.
And like in the final boss, to be honest, like the boss number 5, that's pretty much how it works, right? It's kind of like PvP coded in a way, because you don't know what your opponent is going to do.
But it's unfair.
Wait.
Unfair. That's what I was saying.
Hold on. I have over 200 hours in this game. What 5th boss? What are you guys talking about?
I don't think you saw the vid, Rex. I
must have missed it. Is there a secret boss that I missed?
Well, I got smoked by him the first time I faced him.
Wow.
Yes, there is. Yes,
you sounded really broken by the...
Oh man, it was terrible. I was like, I didn't expect it first and foremost, right? And when I walked into it blind and just got smacked in the face by this guy, right? But we ended up eventually getting it right. But I've also received a lot of comments where people are asking how you unlock the 5th boss. I don't know if you want to reveal that, but it might be useful for some people to hear it from the guys that made it.
We could even tease that in the title.
So, well, of course, spoilers, but we don't mind saying it, like we said on the Discord when people like press us, because some people do want to know. So actually, it's pretty simple. You just have to beat all the bosses in Explorer or Pioneer, so either Gold or Diamond Star on all the bosses, and then you play again.
That's what those different colored stars mean.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
You do that, you play again, and then the boss will replace whatever boss you picked.
Got it.
For this
But
one. And then he shows up in the selection.
It's only the first time though. It's only because some people are like, "Oh, the boss is random. He appears random." No.
Yeah,
it's just the first time, and then once you fight the boss, whether you lose or win, it will never appear like by surprise again. It will be in the boss selection menu, and you'll be able to select the boss. So some people don't. It's a very
controversial.
Yeah, it's a very controversial boss. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people didn't because he's so different. He doesn't play the same compared to other bosses. But yeah, that's why. Look, at the end of the day, you can just if you don't like it, feel free to not play against him, and it will only appear by surprise once.
It will only ruin one run, basically.
Right. Well, I mean, like, on that note, I was taken completely by surprise, right? And I've done, like, up to that point, I did, 6, 7 runs? So if you were looking for a surprise effect, you definitely got it out of me. And you got it out of me live, like, in video, right? So it was awesome, and he is tough, and I think fighting other full teams with items and all that. I mean, it's a unique element of the game for sure. I was like, wow, how do I even begin to approach this fight? It was really new, and I personally enjoyed it. Now I got my butt kicked, but I personally enjoyed it. Absolutely. It was a lot of fun. It really was.
That's nice. We wanted you to be like completely lost, but then when you try again and again, you figure him out, you know? That was kind of the vision. And
also,
like it, but
like the vision was also like, what is the most terrifying animal on Earth? And in my opinion, it's actually human beings, because humans can do a lot of terrible things in life. Like, think about all the wars and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
The wild creatures in Decktamer, although some of them are really horrific, at the end of the day, they're not malicious. They're just following their instincts. They're just trying to survive. But a human being, there can be malice to it. And so for me, it made sense for the final boss to be a human being that does exactly the same things you do as the player. And it's something we said before. In this fight, you are the boss. You're the Lost Explorer's boss.
And Axel, you actually really nailed Ahmed's vision of humans in the game with the that former human. I see it even when I'm not looking at the screen. That figure with the wooden mask and the lifeless eyes. It's a horrifying concept.
That's really inspired from Made in Abyss 2, where like you can lose your humanity and stuff in the abyss.
So, like, what's one invisible system that players never notice but took forever to get right? So something behind the scenes is probably more for the programmer in this equation, I would think.
Yeah, so it depends. The way I interpret your question is more of a game design thing. So like a system to get right, for me, it's more like, tell me if I'm wrong, but you're talking about like a gameplay element, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So for us, and it's not really a programmer thing, it's more of a game design thing, it was the taming system.
Okay.
So the taming system, so how does it work in Decktamer? It's pretty simple. You lower the creature's HP. The less HP it has, the more chance you have of taming it. And if you give it its favorite food, well, the creature only has 1 HP, it's a guaranteed tame. And if you fail a tame, the creature becomes coaxed. It's like a special effect that makes it easier for the creature to get tamed. And so every time you fail a taming attempt, you have higher and higher chance of succeeding. All of these elements had to come from somewhere, and initially it wasn't like this at all. Like
Okay.
the food system, that's something we had to come up with. The fact that it's chance based, we had to come up with that. The coax thing, we had to come up with that. The fact that it's guaranteed at 1 HP, we had to come up with that by testing, of course, and seeing what feels fun and what actually makes the game better. Initially, in fact, the taming system was very different. So we always had the idea that you, as a player, you would be able to tame enemy creatures. That was one of the main pillars, I would say, of the game, even during the prototyping phase.
Okay.
And back then it was different. So you had like a bar you had to fill. It wasn't RNG based at all, and there was a strange system where if you fail a tame, the creature becomes angry. And so it didn't feel good because you're punishing the player twice. First, well, they lose their food, so that's already feels bad. Second of all, now the creature is angry, so now it has more damage and stuff like that. And also, that's something I just remembered. In the very early prototype, when you use the food and you failed, the food would, it would still heal. So it's like triple punishing. Yeah. So failing a
that's Ascension 12.
Failing a taming it felt very bad, and you look at it today. Now, if you fail a taming attempt, of course it still feels bad because, well, you wasted food and stuff like that. But at least the creature is more likely to be tamed if you try again. So yeah, that's something that feels natural, I would say, in my opinion. Feels natural today when you play the game, but it took a while to get us there.
Okay.
AK, what are some of the questions people ask that now that you have the opportunity to sort of ask the source themselves, like as far as directions for the game?
The one that I always get is, how do you unlock the 5th final boss, the 5th secret boss? That's the one I always get. I honestly get that one. I've probably gotten that like 10 times, honestly. So that is definitely the one. But there's also comments about like all of the 1-star units, right? So all of those evolve into something. Is that right or is that wrong?
So actually, it's just the starters. Like
just the starters.
Just the one you can pick at the start. But it works if you tame them during the run. But it has to be like one of the starting creatures.
Right. And that's what I thought as well. But I've seen like people saying that, it's anything that has 1 star. It's obviously not, right?
Fake news.
So what is the direction the game is going to take? Like, is this the finished project? Do you see some DLC coming down the road? Do you see a Decktamers 2? Are we going to mobile? Because I cannot wait to shill your game on the Android subreddit if it ever comes there. I mean, I'm well known as the guy that says, why bother playing anything besides Slay the Spire? So for me to commit this much to a deck builder would mean a lot to the 5 or so people that know me as the Slay the Spire guy. So I'd be thrilled to sort of talk about that. So what's sort of the future roadmap for Horizon Studio?
Yes, of course. So we do have an official roadmap on Decktamer's Steam page. So I can list off the things we have planned. We have a difficulty rework, allowing you to customize your own difficulty. Better endless mode, a little bit more balanced, more fun, and the ability to continue any run into endless. A better bestiary that has a section for the moves, the talents, and the stats of each creature. Cool. More creatures, of course, including bosses, more events, and balance changes for existing events. Extended runs, optional, but you would be able to continue a run a little bit longer if you wish to, it's optional. An improved save system, so being able to have multiple save files in parallel if you want to do multiple runs at the same time. A daily runs mode where everyone shares the same seed for the day.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then we have Roadmap Part 2, which will release whenever we finish the first one. For mobile, at the moment we can't confirm anything officially. for any platform really other than PC. But it's something we're definitely interested in, and again, I can't confirm anything officially, but it's something we're looking at.
What's your favorite starting creature currently in the game?
When we get the opportunity to, we try to make AK take Lumi.
Oh yeah, Lumi's a crazy one because, I mean, you really have to like bank heavy on your other units until you can evolve it. But once you evolve it, it's a crazy strong one. Like crazy. I did a run with the Lantern Dog. I was really impressed by the Lantern Hound. That one's phenomenal, man. It's super fast, super strong.
You've always really done really well with Shellcat.
Oh yeah, Shellcat's great. That ink ability, absolutely fantastic. I love that one too. And then when you get the evolved form, the Shell Panther, it comes out and it inks everybody, right? Like that's such a strong skill. Like it's stuff like that I think makes the game just so much fun. It's like, let's do a new run. We're going Shellcat. Let's kind of grind a little bit, but let's get Shellcat evolved, and then we have a creature that we can kind of lean back on. You know what I mean? But what are your guys' favorite starters?
Actually, I was gonna say Lantern Dog because
Props to Lantern Dog, man. Shout out.
for the fun facts, it's the first creature ever
Okay.
Oh,
that I drew. It's the first, and you can tell by the art style it's a bit different. Like you
Yeah,
can
a little
see
bit.
the lines. So that's my favorite. I think I like the design. I like the gameplay. I think it's just a nice card.
And he's about to eat that ant too, right? So
Yeah.
I like how you do that in your art as well. You have other units in the artwork, like the ants in the Lantern Dog's image and so on and so forth.
For the Lantern Dog, the Ant is a card that got added pretty late in development, and we were like, okay, what starter should we add in terms of design? And I was like, look, there's this little like purple ant in the Lantern Dog's art. To make things more coherent, maybe it should be an actual creature, and in fact, it's the same reasoning we used for the Lumi. So the Lumi is in the Glowtongue's artwork, and that's how the Lumi got created. At first, it was like, oh, let's put a small insect so that the Glowtongue has an interesting pose in the card. Then we're like, okay, but let's make it an actual creature. Let's make the Lumi a real card, and we did the same thing with the ant. For my personal favorite starter, in terms of design, I would say the Shellcat.
Okay.
And this one has an interesting story behind it too. I don't know if you remember.
I do.
How it came about.
I 100% do. You can tell the story.
So you make a game, and you need, of course, to do some tests at the beginning. So you go, okay, test creature. What am I gonna call it? Okay, whatever, Shellcat. And that's just like a test name that was in the game files for a lot of time. And then at some point, a long time after, we were like, okay, what starter do we do? And I was like, you know what? I remember seeing that Shellcat thing in the game files. Let's just try something. And I really wasn't convinced, but in the end, it turned out great, I think. So that's a funny story too.
It was just a text I put in the files of the game to test the translation system.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It was a random name. Yeah.
And then it evolves into a Shell Panther, like a fearsome panther that's just like, wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I find you usually have pretty good success when you choose a Shellcat, because it's all about who's going first in fight, which puts a great importance on speed, of course, or at least a tankiness to be able to take hits. Now, of course, if you can't take a hit, the creature will ultimately die. Did you have an intentional emotional reaction you wanted the player to feel when a creature dies?
That's a good question. So I think I mentioned this earlier, but one of the inspirations for Decktamer was the Pokemon Nuzlocke as well. I don't know if you're familiar with Nuzlocke.
Yeah. If one of your Pokemon fall in fight, you have to box them. Yep.
Exactly. So that's the permadeath element. And in Nuzlocke, whenever your Pokemon dies, you have one of two reactions from what I've seen. Either you're sad because that was not calculated at all. The Pokemon died without you like being okay with that, or you sacrifice the Pokemon on purpose in order to advance your journey, basically. And that's the same thing for Decktamer. And that's something a lot of beginner players don't get, is that in this game, you're expected sacrifice your creatures. And so the emotional response when losing a creature is, okay, this was calculated, I'm okay with this. But sometimes one of your good creatures, the one that you actually gave a nickname to, the one that you actually like,
My beloved Grimjaw.
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes that creature also dies, and I think it's normal to be a little bit sad when this happens. We very much wanted to have players be emotionally attached to some creatures, not all of them. Like, I don't think you're supposed to be sad when one of your Hellrat dies. I think it's just part of the process.
I mean, you're 100% right. Sometimes you have to just sack a unit. It's just part of how you have success in the game. If you're unwilling to sacrifice any unit, your deck's going to get too full, first and foremost. But secondly, then, everybody's going to be weakened because they're always taking hits.
The initial idea of Decktamer, we never intended on making it a hard or difficult game. That wasn't really the goal. It just kind of happened. It just kind of happened.
And that is one thing that people often say. It's like, this game's really tough, right? It's really tough. And
Very demanding.
yeah, and what I always tell people is just slow down, right? You're not on a timer or anything. Just slow it down, just relax, and just do the math, right? Do the math. Make sure before you press end turn, just make sure this is what you want to do. And I think it's helpful advice because, the times I've been burned are the times when I haven't completely thought through the full turn. And then all of a sudden, things happen and I lost my starter or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a very good point you make. And in order to make the game more accessible to beginners, we released an update recently where if you play in lower difficulties, the undo system has been completely overhauled. So every single action you do can be undone. So let's say, for example, you didn't think the turn through and you didn't notice that the enemy would hit all lanes. Well, you can just press undo, and there we go. You just avoided that mistake.
But you could already do that. But what we added now is that you can undo, for example, a retreat. So if you retreat the card, but you were like, oh no, I wanted to keep it, you can undo that.
Okay. Ultimately, it helps the player learn, right? Because I think that's the biggest part of it, right? Like, obviously, you learn the basics pretty quickly, but I tend to learn something new with each run. I've done a lot of runs. I think I have 50, 60 hours into it. I still learn something new. It's something to keep in mind, something to be aware of, a way to abuse something. It's a game that will keep you coming back for more. So to close out the interview, tell us how to stay connected with your game and any other projects that you're working on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. That was a pleasure talking with you guys. You can find us on Decktamer's Steam page. So on Steam, type in Decktamer, Decktamer, and we have an official Discord server if you want to stay in touch with us, if you want to talk to us directly. We have a nice little community of very passionate players on our official Discord server.
And we're pretty active there.
If you have any suggestions, anything you want to talk to us about, the Discord server is the way to go. So thank you again for having us.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys taking the time to sit down and chat about your wonderful game, Decktamer. Get it on Steam. There'll be a link in the video description below. And Rex, thanks for taking some time as well. I appreciate you, man.
Always a pleasure.
All right, fellas. Well, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.